Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and begin. Uh, First, I would like to say thank you for letting me be here. My name is Natalie Barton. I am with Nuestras Raíces Centro Comunitario, which stands for Our Roots Community Center. And we work to provide a sense of belonging through well-being and holistic services to empower our community and promote more equitable economy. I work as a cultural ambassador in education, which means my job is connecting students within Spokane Public Schools with after-school activities, specifically culturally relevant after-school activities. I'm also a coach for Union Football Club, which is our free soccer program for kids ages 8 to 13. So to start, I would like to take a moment to thank the community partners who have helped support Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane and this amazing event. So thank you to Inatai Foundation, Better Health Together, Empire Health Foundation, Western State Center, Smith Barbieri Progressive Fund. We're so glad that you could join us. I would also like to give a special thank you to all of our table hosts, volunteers, and our videography team. Your support and work is what allows this event to be such a success. Now, I would like you to raise your hand if you are new to Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane. So raise your hand if you're new. Woo! Welcome, thank you. It's always exciting to have new people. Now I would like you to raise your hand if you've been a part of PJALS for more than 10 years. Give them a round of applause, everybody. Thank you for everything that you've built. Now I would like to shout out our monthly donors. So thank you to our monthly donors. And finally, I would like to shout out to those who are active PJAL members. These people volunteer their time to plan and carry out actions and events, making them a success through their hard work. They show up to marches, city council mobilizations, and do so much more, all in the name of not just making the values of PJALS visible, but demanding that they be heard. Thank you for all of your work. Now, I would like to introduce Liz Moore. Liz Moore is PJALS Executive Director, began her activism in PJALS youth group as a Deer Park High School student after looking up peace in the phone book. She worked as an organizer and educator in unions and community groups on issues including marriage equality, racial justice, and workers' rights before returning to the organization that helped shape and define her work as a young activist. She is passionate about grassroots leadership development and supporting youth as leaders. In all that she does, Liz holds fast to the belief that everyday people have the power to build a just and nonviolent world. In April of this year, the PJALS staff and steering committee celebrated Liz's 15 years as PJALS Directive Executive. So please welcome Liz Moore.
Thank you, Natalie, and hello, everybody. I'm gonna have a little preemptive fight with this microphone. All right. So good to be together with you all. I just feel so filled up and so warm and happy to be with you all, to be like with our people together at a movement event that is about building power together. I'd like to really welcome you all and thank you for being part of this. We want to begin by respectfully acknowledging that we are on the unceded and stolen lands of the Spokane people, or Spokanee. and other interior Salish peoples who have stewarded this land since time immemorial. We offer our respect to elders, both past and present. The point of our land acknowledgement is to inspire and commit ourselves to take action to support Indigenous communities. We commit to intentionally addressing the outcomes of the doctrine of discovery, the truth about the people who are already here, who were targeted by genocide and forced removal by the United States government, military, and settlers. We honor and lift up Indigenous people who continue to resist the impacts of ongoing colonization and to sustain their culture, language, and people. And we know it is insufficient to simply acknowledge the people whose land we occupy. We commit to centering and supporting the voices, leadership, solutions, people, new microphone please, in our communities and around the world. My goal is that everyone here will take at least one specific action to enact our shared values. We encourage you to give financial support to Indigenous-led organizations here in the land of the interior Salish peoples, and we call on each other to integrate the essential voices of Indigenous people in our lives all year long. Our words are only as meaningful as our actions. As you know, our theme today is grounded by our roots, we grow. In our Peace and Justice Action League community, we know everyday people can accomplish extraordinary things together. We've been doing it for almost 50 years. I want to thank the extraordinary everyday people who lead PJALS as members of our steering committee. Those are, and will you wave or stand as I say your name? I want to thank co-chairs Ayaka Dohi and Sally Winkle. Our steering committee secretary, Heather Wallace, and vice secretary, Gian Mitchell. Wonderful members, Nagmana Ahmed Shirazi and Yasi Naragi. And fantastic new members, Puyan Lam and Chad Kuntz. Right there. Thank you so much for how you lead and for being willing to lead. And on a personal point, I want to take a moment to thank my mom, who is here, over there. She has been a source of endless support and love, and I love you, Mom. So in our Peace and Justice Action League community and in our movement, we are organizing in multiple ongoing crises of structural and ideological white supremacy, of violent and political far-right, authoritarian and white nationalist organizing, poverty, class exploitation, climate crisis, US imperialism, and more. We face a tremendous resource differential when we take on the criminal legal system, the fueling of white nationalism by politicians and the powerful and prosperous, the political and cultural structures of militarism and imperialism. Locally, nationally, and transnationally, certain politicians and the powerful and prosperous exploit racist rhetoric to turn working people against each other, while they rig government and the economy for themselves. Then they point the finger for our hard times at poor families, Black people, new immigrants, and Muslims. The wealthy get richer, the rest of us get poorer, and the power of government is turned against Black, Indigenous, and communities of color here and around the world, such as the US-funded genocide against Palestinians in Gaza and the widening and escalating Israeli war now targeting Lebanon. Spokane County is contested territory, and in that we reflect global dynamics. We're in struggle over who belongs, who is worthy, who's seen as a threat, and who deserves to be safe. And just under the surface, we know that's all about race, class, and imperialism, topics we are conditioned to be silent about. But together, we are rejecting messages of racism, American supremacy, fear, and division from the prosperous and powerful, to join together with people from all walks of life so that we can ensure all our communities get good housing and better schools, not more barbed wire, and more jobs, not more jail cells. And I don't just mean our communities bounded by colonizer-bound borders. I mean, we are coming together to shout and sing that all people hold inherent worth. We're all part of this web of life. We all need our planet, and we all need each other to be free. So we're coming together for collective liberation. And as the song says, no one is getting left behind this time. Or as the chant says, forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back. So grounded by our roots, we grow. Our roots are in opposing war and imperialism. Our roots are in studying and learning together. Our roots are in economic justice. Our roots are in human rights. Our roots are in doing the right thing, the thing that aligns with our values, even when it's not the easy thing. Our roots are in grappling with hard questions, like what do we do with the privilege that we hold as white people, as Americans, as men, as cisgender people, as temporarily able-bodied people, as people with financial resources. What do we do with our privileges to dismantle these systems? And how do we build cross-class, cross-race, all-gender movement? So right now, we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel, and on the anniversary of the beginning of the US-funded Israeli retaliation, onslaught, and genocide on Gaza, now widening to include Lebanon more and more. And this 1-year anniversary comes after decades of US-funded and US-protected occupation, violence, and apartheid. Right now, we're facing an election where we must hold the complexity and contradictions of the imperative of defeating American fascism and the imperative of opposing American imperialism. This election season is exposing fault lines in the foundational origin myths of this country and fault lines in the moderate progressive alliance that we sometimes take for granted at our peril. I agree with you agreeing with me about that, yes. So grounded by our roots and located in this present moment, how do we grow? Our roots and our growth show when we work together to identify shared goals, develop strategies, mobilize through collective direct action to educate and pressure policymakers, as we say, to see the light or feel the heat, to win policy change and to shift power. Grounded by our roots and with our collective eye on how we grow, our 4 priorities this year are countering American imperialism and militarism, through marches, demonstrations, and vigils, through education, through organizing messages to and meetings with staff of our senators and even our representative, and through our determined and focused Peace and Justice Action Committee. Countering white nationalism and American fascism by building an informed, active, explicitly anti-racist culture within our base and the greater Spokane region through our BOLD program, by training peacekeepers in nonviolent de-escalation, through education about the far right, and by working with partners to keep our communities safe in this volatile election season. Ending mass incarceration and systemic racism in our city-county carceral system, as we did through our role in last year's victorious coalition campaign to defeat massive jail expansion, and through ongoing work for police accountability. You can clap, yeah. We beat that together. And finally, grassroots leadership development through our Peace and Justice Action Conference coming up in the spring, through webinar series on militarism and other topics, and through our Young Activist Leaders Program, where we support young leaders to learn the nuts and bolts of organizing and take action together. Our roots and our growth show as we build a cross-racial, intergenerational, all-gender, rural-urban, bottom-up movement centered on the leadership of impacted people. And our roots and our growth show when, as Marge Piercy wrote, we do it again after they said no. When we say we, and we know who we mean, and each day we mean one more. So I want to share with you some changes in our PJALS staff team. This month we said goodbye to 2 people who have been important members of our staff team, as youth organizer Ellis Bennis graduated high school and launches off into the world via the University of Washington. And as our fantastic community organizer, Union Carter, moved to stupid Seattle, but is working as a union organizer now. That's how I feel about that. I don't like when organizers move away. And I'd like to introduce you to 2 new members of our team. Our operations coordinator, James Hires, who's been with us just 3 weeks. And on just day 3 in this role, our new community organizer, Chantel Jackson. And I'd like to thank our really fantastic staff team who've been working so hard to make this event happen. Digital organizer Bex Matthews, where are they? There's some, behind, yeah, working. And in particular, I want to thank our really fantastic development director, Shar Lichty, who's been working night and day. And now I'm very excited to introduce our keynote speaker, Spokane City Council member, Lily Navarrete. Our community is very lucky that Lily Navarrete and her family immigrated to Spokane from Mexico City in 1988. She graduated from Ferris High School and obtained a BA in International Affairs from Eastern Washington University with minors in economics and business administration. Lily currently represents District 2 on the Spokane City Council. Advocacy is central to her career. She was the Director of Public Affairs and Rais at Planned Parenthood of Greater Washington and North Idaho for 8 years, where she fought for reproductive rights, immigrants, and marginalized communities. She was the Vice President of the Hispanic Business Professional Association and was appointed by Governor Inslee as a Commissioner on Hispanic Affairs in 2020. Lily has been an active member of the Spokane Immigrant Rights Coalition and the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network. She played an instrumental role in the passing of the Reproductive Healthcare Access for All Act and worked tirelessly to combat racial profiling in Spokane. In addition, she previously served as a commissioner for the Office of Police Ombuds for District 2. And in addition to representing District 2 on City Council now, she also works as the Community Health Equity Organizer for WSU's Elson S. Floyd College of Medicine and is the chair of Health Equity for Nuestros Raíces. Lily speaks from her heart as well as her mind and puts her whole self in motion for the well-being and thriving of our whole community with a focus on immigrant rights and health. She's also an absolute delight, very funny, and one of the warmest people you'll have the joy of meeting. Lily has not only been part of our PJALS community for several years as a community partner, but also as a friend, a supporter, and a donating member. And I think she's a real badass. So please join me. And that's the sound of when a badass is about to take the stage, things crash. It's great. Please join me in welcoming Spokane City Council member Lily Navarrete.
I'll just hold it. Buenas tardes todos. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Lily Navarrete y me da un gran honor estar aquí con todos ustedes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lily Navarrete, and I am beyond honored to be part of this great event. The theme this year for the event, Grounded by Our Roots, We Grow. The theme is very near to my heart. Let me briefly tell you how my family and I decided to plant our roots here in Spokane. We immigrated from Mexico City in the late 80s. Although the culture shock was immense, coming from a 20 million people city to maybe about 10,000 back then was, I can't even describe the words. We missed our family and friends. We didn't speak a word of English, making it more difficult to adjust. However, throughout time, going to school, meeting more people, learning the language, we learned to navigate our needs. My family consists of 4 siblings. I'm the middle one. And my parents. We all went to college and headed our own paths. My younger brother is a corrections officer, my younger sister is a surgical technician, and my older sister is a mobile housing advocate for the Y, and I'm the politician. The very first time I knew about PJALS was when I was in my first week of work in my new position back in August 2015. And I'll never get tired of telling this story. Our public affairs team went to the courthouse to an ordinance that was to be passed. It was an ordinance, it was Prop 1, which consisted of allowing any city employee to ask for legal documentation to anyone and prove they were legal in this country. So any city employee would ask me while putting money in the meter if I was a legal resident or if I was a citizen. I didn't know anyone while we were at the courthouse, and I happened to walk in and sit next to Shar. When the judge gave her verdict on not letting Prop 1 pass, we all hugged and cried. I immediately knew I had an ally and a friend sitting next to me. I got to know Shar and Liz and everyone else at PJALS, along with many other nonprofit organizations, which I learned so much from and made me grow and made me be who I am today. I can tell you countless of stories of how I have worked with PJALS, but one that stands out the most is when their peacekeepers, which are amazing folks, helped us at a protest in front of the Spokane Intermodal. In 2019, we were extremely concerned about the racial profiling Border Patrol was doing to the passengers at the Greyhound station. We took action, and during a meeting with several other organizations, I brought up the problem at the Intermodal. There was pushback from some of the group members because Greyhound, being a huge company, and Border Patrol being a big government agency, it just seems like it was impossible to do it. But those of you who have worked with me and know me knew that I wasn't afraid to take on anything. So I went ahead. I said, who wants to go out there and protest? The room fell silent. Nobody said anything. I said, I wasn't afraid. I said I was tired of seeing people taken out of buses because they were not white. Again, I proposed my plan and asked who would be able to participate. Nobody still. And then Liz raised her hand and said that to count on her and PJALS and anything that we needed. Another group that was brave enough to participate during that protest was the Crimson group from WSU, who was made up of DACA students. And also the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, who had a student here working in the East Side. So just us, we decided to take on this huge project. At the end of the meeting, as I was walking out to my car, several people came up and said, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to participate. It's just a lot. It's a lot for organizations. I don't think it can be done. The day of the protest, we organized. The peacekeepers, who are amazing folks again, took care of us, and the protest became successful. An ordinance was made through the city, but was it passed? It was passed. Was it enforced? It was not. But that was another fight. I can save that for another time. But long story short, Border Patrol was asked to leave that intermodal, and we worked with the Attorney General to sue the Greyhound Company and give the money to the families of the people who were harassed and deported. Thank you. Although some organizations who didn't participate, and again, those of you who know me and have worked with me, I'm very honest, organizations who did not participate or worked took credit for our work. And just to be on the record, Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane, the WSU Crimson Group, and Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network were the ones out there during that very smoky day due to the summer fires and decided to make a change and take on a beast. These are a couple of many, many events and support that PJALS has done in the community. I learned from them, not only to be a partner organizer, but also how to navigate racism in Spokane. Their workshops tell the truth about the root of racism and inequality. I am so honored to not only call PJALS my partner organization, but also my dear friends. And because of people like them, I also decided to plant my roots here and raise my family. I decided to represent marginalized and immigrant communities by being appointed the first immigrant Latina in City Council after 143 years. Thank you. And I gotta tell you, it's not easy. It's more than challenging being in a space that is mostly white-dominated, but not impossible because I have the support of my community and my family. PJALS is one of the organizations that give me strength to fight every day. There is a long road ahead still, but I know I'm not alone. I got my community, brothers and sisters behind me. I know that if I find myself in a bad situation, I can call up Liz, I can call up Shar, I can call up Puyon, I can call up anybody in my circle to give me the strength. PJALS, Liz, and Shar, thank you so much for being there and for always having my back. Sigan la lucha. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily, for your words. I have been lucky to know Lily for a while, and her hard work and the accomplishments that come from that hard work and determination is something that continues to inspire me, and so I always love to hear you speak, so thank you. Okay, so now I'm excited to show everyone a video about the Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane. I want everyone to take this moment while watching and appreciate the amazing work this organization has done over the past 49 years. It's been 49 years of hard work, dedication, all done by their amazing members. So, presents the video.
PJALS, the Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane, has been in existence for many years, and they have always lended their voices on the side of justice.
These are the foundations of a movement that can build and hold power. Not power over, but instead power with each other.
I've been here since 1974, and I've seen PJALS as a voice for things that would otherwise not get a voice at all.
The Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane shows up.
I've met so many important people in my life through this community.
I'm so proud to have been a part of PJALS' work during this trying time.
There can be no peace where there's an absence of justice.
Building the next generation of activists and leaders equipped with the skills to handle any situation of injustice is our job.
We work collaboratively to raise our community's awareness and analysis around structural racism in Spokane.
And I kept saying, they're like Nike, they just do it.
There is no mistake so tragic it divides us. There is no hardship we cannot endure and overcome.
In our Peace and Justice Action League community, we know everyday people can accomplish extraordinary things together.
The values of inclusion, accountability, leadership by those directly impacted, and the dismantling of white supremacy are more than just words for PJALS. They walk the talk.
At the Peace and Justice Action League, we withdraw our consent from the current system and know that we can flip the power structure upside down because we the people have the power.
PJALS continues to lead the way on cultivating spaces for both learning and unlearning.
We stand in this moment, recognizing that in the hardest moments, as clouds are rolling in, seeking to undercut the very concept of democracy, we continued to stand.
I also know that PJALS will continue to lead and facilitate social and political transformation and progress in Eastern Washington.
We continue fighting for holistic, community-centered public safety, compassionate housing and homelessness policy, racial equity, an end to international conflict, and so much more. In other words, justice and peace.
And to those who are new, we say welcome. We need you.
They have helped me to use my voice in a big way in this community, and I am forever grateful for that.
They are there for peace. Not only that, they put themselves on the line in search of justice.
Here, I had found a place to productively turn my justified anger about injustices that I recognize more and more in my everyday life into change and opportunities to learn from the people around me.
Activism is the pursuit of justice for all of us, our ancestors, those silenced or unheard, and for our relatives yet to be born. Because this is important, and this is right.
But I'll be around, and I hope you will too, because there's lots of work to do.
Venceremos, si se puede.
Change does not come easy, but PJALS has for almost 50 years seen that challenge and continued to work. So let's give PJAL and their members another round of applause for the amazing things that they've done. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of the PJALS community during the last 49 years. You have made this video and so much more possible. Special thank you to Bex, PJALS digital organizer, for creating such a powerful video. Now, I would like to introduce three individuals. Foster Transu, the PJALS youth organizer, Ian Sullivan from Odyssey Youth Movement, and Ayaka Dohi, PJALS Steering Committee co-chair.
Okay, I can't figure that out. Hello there. My name is Foster, and I'm a youth organizer. I completed the fall 2023 and the spring 2024 Yelp internship sessions. On the first day of the fall 2023 internship, I wasn't sure what to expect, but the more I attended, I realized that it really resonated with me. I got the opportunity to connect with people my age, learn more about other people's experiences, and even make a few friends all along the way, all while learning valuable information on organizing and the political situation of Spokane and Washington in general. The most memorable part about the fall internship for me was going door to door talking to people about Measure 1. I didn't know a lot about Spokane's local politics at the beginning of the last fall internship, but having Measure 1 explained to me gave me a new perspective. I got to meet a lot of new people from all walks of life while working with PJALS and SCAR for voter outreach. I put a lot of time into voter contacting, and I'll never forget the watch party where we found out that we defeated Measure 1 and later learned the statistics on just how much our reaching out mattered. Canvassing was Thank you. Canvassing was nerve-wracking at first, but by the second time I did it, I was actually helping my partner learn how to do it. And by the fourth time, I was with strangers and I took the lead. Thank you. Knowledge is very important in keeping yourself mindful and safe in your surroundings and greater community. I had a great time in the 2 internships I did with PJALS, and I'm excited to continue my work with PJALS and the current fall internship, which we had the first session of last Friday. It went well, all things considered, but despite a slight hiccup in our plans, we were able to turn it around and make it a fun experience for us and the youth attending, which I think goes to show how prepared and diligent we are to make an event follow through, even in the face of an inconvenience. This next internship session, we will be talking about the ins and outs of voting, including its history, which I am very excited to both learn and educate others on. Thank you all for letting me be a part of the Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane, and thank you all for coming.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Ian Sullivan, and it's been my privilege to serve as the Executive Director of Odyssey Youth Movement. Odyssey's history does not stretch back as far as PJALS, but for over 30 years, we have worked to promote equity for Spokane area LGBTQ young people through youth-driven programs and community education. Most folks know Odyssey through our drop-in center programs, including opportunities for LGBTQ teens and young adults to gather in community, share a meal, access resources and basic needs supplies, learn from each other and mentors, and more. While the programs are vital for the well-being of our community's LGBTQ young people, the 4 walls of the drop-in center cannot be the only space they feel safe and affirmed. This is where community partners like PJALS play a critical role in ensuring a future of thriving LGBTQ young people throughout the Inland Northwest. One of the best examples of this is YALP, or the Young Activist Leadership Program, that you've heard about throughout today. Over the years, PJALS has worked to include Odyssey and LGBTQ youth leaders in the program, including for a time meeting in the Perry District to allow Odyssey participants to more easily access the meetings. It always makes me smile when I hear about the experiences of youth in YALP or see pictures of them engaging in their community and learning how to better advocate for themselves and their peers. Odyssey youth participants in YALP are better prepared to face an ever more challenging world and do so while growing in their leadership in the communities they love. PJALS has also been an important partner when it comes to Odyssey events. And I don't just say that meaning attending the Pride and Perry Festival or sharing about youth events on social media, though that certainly does happen and is very appreciated. I mean that the PJALS community shows up on the ground to ensure that events and demonstrations are a success. After the Rainbow Crosswalk outside Odyssey's drop-in center was vandalized last fall, the community came together quickly to get it cleaned up, and Odyssey hosted a pop-up Pride event to rechristen this symbol of community and inclusivity. The Peacekeeper team from PJALS joined us to help ensure the safety of all those celebrating that evening. This team of trained volunteers came in their fluorescent safety vests, ready with smiles and rainbow stickers. Prepared to ensure that the flow of the event went smoothly, they were ready to step in and diffuse or de-escalate as needed. Thanks to their presence at the pop-up and dozens of other events, marches, rallies, and demonstrations, our communities can gather to have our voices heard and be in community, knowing that PJALS and the incredible volunteers have our back. Odyssey doesn't make referrals to just any nonprofit or community resource. We have to ensure that groups are a safe and affirming space for the young people we work with. PJALS has proven that time and again with their work with young folks, and especially LGBTQ, queer, and gender diverse folks. While PJALS, while PJALS and Odyssey have a strong organizational partnership, I also want to share that I, as an individual, have been a PJALS member and monthly donor for years. Because of the amazing work I have seen PJALS do on the ground and in our communities, I support the work as an individual and intend to give an additional gift today. Thank you all again for being here and for everything you do to support our community.
Y'all, this is really great. Thank you for being here. This is what PJALS does. It brings together individuals from different walks of life, representing various identities, positionalities, and issues. Yet we're all linked by this shared commitment and hope for a just future. My name is Ayaka Dohi, and I serve as the co-chair of our steering committee. Personally, PJALS serves as a pivotal factor in my personal life. I had just graduated from Gonzaga University with a degree and energy to continue being a social justice warrior for an issue you're particularly familiar with, racial justice. You see, I moved to what I thought was Spokane, Washington, from San Jose, California, and from one of the most diverse high schools in the state. The story of how I ended up there is a different story, so we'll jump to the end. When I graduated, my small community with fellow BIPOC folks dispersed and ceased. Spokane was a scary place for me. The narrative and my own witnessing of its conservatism and whiteness made a 22-year-old me feel alone and afraid again. This fear led me to believe that the only place I could feel safe and be in community were places like Seattle or back in California. And it wasn't like I didn't try. Y'all, it's really hard. I did join a feminist book club, but within minutes didn't quite feel like it was an intersectional and BIPOC-friendly feminism. But there, I did meet a PJALS member who instantly became a friend because PJALS members are great. And we shared a similar lens to our feminism. And unsurprisingly, she was welcoming, kind, and frustrated like me. She told me about PJALS and invited me constantly. While I didn't find my Filipino elders and friends there, I did find genuine and lovingly outraged activists for similar issues I cared about. And the rest is history. I joined the Young Activist Leadership Program, and in the first session was hooked. I learned how to influence change, not just become aware of them. I asked myself every week in Yelp with a sociology degree, why didn't I learn this in college? There, I met some of the most committed and wisest leaders, both who were in my program and members of the current PJALS team or staff. I thought, these people have my back, and that we'll show up for others in our community, the unhoused, BIPOC, LGBTQ+ community, undocumented refugees, immigrants, and more. My community is here in Spokane. So while there is immense comfort and familiarity and a sense of belonging when we are in community with those who look and sound like us, I've actually found something really rich and deep here. That those of us here in this space, while many of us strangers to one another, are actually quite connected because of our sense of connection to our issues, that your issue becomes mine and mine yours. We want and deserve for our community members to feel safe, respected, and included, locally and globally. And PJALS links everyday people who care about every person in our community with an amplified ear to those on the margins and mobilizes us to find a way or multiple actions to build a just and nonviolent world. I am inspired every time I think of the PJALS mission. and I hope you are too. What keeps me committed now, nearly 10 years in the organization and now steering as a committee member, is witnessing the ways that PJALS does this work consistently, in collaboration, with intention, speed, and accountability. The mission of PJALS in action and embodied through our mobilized efforts, educational programming, staff and volunteer capacity, and much more are needed now. I am deeply grateful for those who have helped PJALS be as rooted and steadfast as it has been in the last 49 years. As my story and many others demonstrate, we would not be here without PJALS. But we all know that we have much more work to do. The domestic and international atrocities in this year's election urge us to show up against war, bigotry, and exclusion. So we need every single person who share our organization's values of peace and justice to come through. Will you join me? Our goal is to raise $37,000, and you can give in a variety of ways to meet this goal, and every gift counts. You can donate monthly, and if you are a monthly donor, thank you, and please consider raising your monthly donation or giving an additional gift today. I will be increasing my monthly donation. You can give today with the donation envelopes at your table, or by using your phone's camera to scan the QR code on the back of the program, which looks like this. You can give online at www.peacejustice.org/grow24. We ask that you might consider making a 4-year pledge today to move us into our next 50 years stronger than ever. You can also use the donation envelope to ask about gift planning. Thank you so much for giving your time and money today and for feeding the hope and energy of the Spokane community. And as Char Lichty says at almost every meeting I'm with them, I love the PJALS community. Table hosts, now is the time to pass out the envelopes and turn over the programs on the table for your QR codes.
Okay, I just wanted to close out the day. So with all of this, that concludes the events today. Thank you again for all of your support, and thank you to all of our supporters and volunteers. Also, thank you to everyone who's shown up today. We're happy to have had such a successful event once again and look forward to having this event next year. I want to say thank you to PJALS for inviting me to be here. It's been really amazing to be a part of this. So thank you to everyone who's here. Thank you to PJALS, and congrats.